I did like when he was like, no, Frank, don't do it. You can't kill him. He's like, oh yeah, what about that one? Bam! Just like shoots another one. I was like,
a quick example.
This is wild.
Brandon, this whole season, has been saying that Karen's been dating Shang-Chi.
Right.
What if he calls up Wong? He's like, Wong, I need a huge favor. I just need you to do a little sling ring thing.
A little bro code. And a little bro code sling ring. Welcome back to the break room. That's right, it's been a long night in New York City, and we gotta suss out everything that happened. It's the after show. Hit that graphic.
Strumming my pain with the fingers.
One time.
Everything in its right place.
Oh, baby. We're back today to discuss the final episode of Daredevil Born Again, Season 1, Straight to Hell.
No.
So good. Get Keith David in the MCU, folks.
Yeah.
I'm Brandon Barrick, and joining me today, she's got Frank Castle chained up in a cage in her basement. It's Jessica Clemons.
Oh, God, I wish I did have him chained in my basement.
Also joining us today, he's smashing heads everywhere he goes with his big meaty fists. It's Erik Voss.
You have to tenderize your jaws before you give kisses. Oh, my God, that was so violent.
Was insane. When they did not cut away, I freaked out. And I watched every episode of The Pit this season, and that was graphic. That was crazy.
You in the pit.
I mean, what was more graphic, this or Pedro Pascal getting his head caved in by the mountain? Game of Thrones.
Oberon getting crushed had a lot of noise. This didn't have as much noise.
Yeah.
Like, Oberon had that slow cracking.
Yeah, they had a melon sound effect.
And then wasn't his eyes bleeding?
His eyes were bleeding, but then they cut away when it happens. This is like Psycho. You think you saw the stab.
But you see pieces, I think.
You see chunks.
I only know this because in college, in my Foley class, we had to Foley over it.
Get a head of lettuce.
They made us all do it, and let me tell you, mine was probably the worst because I was like, I don't like looking at this scene over and over again a million times.
Well, we got lots to talk about with this episode, but before we get started, we want to remind you to check out nerdright.shop, where we have our Daredevil-inspired merch, including our brand new Josie shirt, which is a pretty apt shirt considering this the ending of this season, right?
Right.
Put together your own dream team in your Josie shirt. Jessica's rocking our gray Blade shirt, by the way. There's only one chosen one.
Sinners comes out this week.
That's right.
And he's not in it. I'll tell you one thing. Or maybe he might be Marshall. Or Wesley Snipes just shows up. I don't think a lot of people have a good time with Wesley Snipes anymore.
Is it fair that Michael B. Jordan took 2 roles in this movie? He should have shared one of them.
I think no. It's good for us. It's good for the people.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Check out all of our merch options over at nerdright.shop, where we also have Last of Us merch, a bunch of new Last of Us inspired merch coming in. That's season 2 just started. If you haven't gotten in on it, it's off to a bang, baby. As we jump into this episode, let's do a quick recap of what happened, in case you were closing your eyes too much. One crazy night in New York, folks, and a long night it is. After we see the moment Vanessa pulls a reluctant Bullseye out of retirement, Matt avoids assassination attempt number 1 by Buck as he returns to his apartment, where Frank Castle surprises him, and he's shaved, and I guess Matt can hear that he's shaved. The two team up and take on the anti-vigilante task force, including Cole North, which thwarts, of course, assassination attempt number 2. Matt lets Cole live, even after finding out that he was the one who murdered Hector Ayala. Matt and Frank then jump out of the apartment to avoid the biggest grenade I've ever seen. And who shows up in the street? Karen. How did she get there? We'll get to it later.
Erik, you kind of go into this a little bit in the breakdown, but do we think Cole North died with that grenade explosion?
Okay, they cut it out of our reaction, but didn't we think that the shoes we see dangling on the power lines was Cole North's
Yeah,
shoes?
I thought it was implied that those shoes came flying out and wrapped around.
Like Wile E. Coyote shoes. I think he's dead. I think because there was 2 explosions. There was one, and then there was like a bigger one that like caught the gas line or caught another grenade. Why were they going into a residential building with grenades?
Well, we've shown that the task force are not good people.
A bunch of dumb bennies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Cole North is dead, which is kind of a shame. I'm not
a complete waste of a character.
Waste of it, yeah.
Well, Karen is back, baby, and her and Matt investigate Foggy's case to find out what Wilson Fisk's plan was, and Red Hook. And it turns out Wilson Fisk wants to revive the free port that it once was, back in olden times, which would be like a tax-exempt area where they could launder billions of dollars. Which, if anything, our world has shown us you don't need a free port to launder billions of dollars. Just
do it.
President.
I think you need a house. Just become president? That's too hard to do.
Yeah. Is it?
Anybody.
Is it?
Anybody.
While all this is going on, Kingpin tells Sheila and Daniel to clean house as he sends New York into a blackout, baby. And he also smushes Gallows' head. Frank catches the attention of the anti-vigilante task force where they fight, ultimately capturing Frank. They offer him a role in their group because they love him so much. We're all wearing skulls on our chest. Don't you like us, Daddy? And he says no, so they beat the crap out of him and then throw him in a cage with a shit bucket. Karen ultimately convinces Matt not to go into Red Hook because he was just shot hours ago and has been in a big fight already. So he decides it's time to get together an army to help fight Kingpin and his new Safer Streets initiative, making vigilante activity illegal. And now New York is under martial law. Oh, and he's also got a bunch of dissenters in cages like Jack Duquesne, the swordsman, and Frank Castle, and the sledges. Everyone's just in the basement while they're eating dinner. Do you think they can... Is there a separate room where they eat dinner and the people are in cages, or is it all one big room?
Who makes the food for them?
I mean, I think... a chef.
He must have like a caterer to make that pasta dish and what they're eating at the end, which looks like a pear salad, a whole pear.
Yeah, a whole pear.
Not sliced. And so he makes like some kind of like lunchroom slop for the billionaires.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They're not getting like
I think in the MCU 616, they have Jose Andres working. There is no World Central Kitchen or whatever. Like, he's working for the Fizz.
Is it Pizza Papa? Just somewhere with like a little sterno stove?
I like that idea.
Big tray of pizza balls.
Maybe there's a meal prep kit that is not in contrast against one of our previous sponsors.
Oh,
you know?
I don't know. Kingpin could be using Factor. Yes, do you enjoy your meal? It came ready to eat. I just had to eat it, and now we're eating it. Don't worry about them. They're not getting Factor. They're getting Blue Apron.
Oh, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, remember Blue Apron?
I haven't heard since. Yeah, we got a biplane that's over our studio here in.
Karen's plane?
Tom Cruise is doing stunts over our
I hope it's Tom
studio
Cruise,
right
not Harrison Ford, because if it's Harrison Ford, we got to go in the bunker.
Gotta go.
That's a good 2013 era joke.
That's
for you.
that's good. Well, as we wrap up the episode, Matt leaves us with these words: resist, rebuild, rebel. Because they are the city without fear. Clever boy. And we get a mid-credits scene that involves Frank Castle grabbing the man guarding his cage and bringing his arm. So I guess he's going to get out. Do you think he lets everyone else out, or does he just get himself out?
No, I think they're all billionaires.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with Fisk putting billionaires in cages. That I'm here for. We stand a man putting billionaires in cages.
It's
not Steven
progress.
Spielberg.
Listen.
What did he do?
Listen.
What did he do? He just stood there.
What did he do? He did Ready Player One. Put him in the cage.
No,
Put him in the
Player
cage.
One.
Sorry, Mikayla, I yelled. I'm blowing out Mikayla.
It's not like the book, but it's still entertaining.
No, he could have done something better.
I don't think he lets anyone else out. It's so funny. No one else reacted when he's like, "Hey, Mr. Castle, can you throw us the keys?" No, no time.
Sorry, my boy said billionaires gotta stay in cages. Put them in cages, Daddy. Put those billionaires in cages. So many questions as we leave this season. Our biggest one probably being like, how did Karen get there so quickly?
I love that is our biggest question. Not like who is in this army that Matt's forming or like where Frank goes from here. Yeah, well, let's talk about like the timeline logic of this episode, because my first thoughts coming out of this episode was I liked generally what they did. I liked the broad strokes of like having this blackout, turning New York into this like this martial law police state. I don't think it'll get referenced in Thunderbolts just because, I don't know, I think those teams were kind of siloed. But, like, I just like this idea. I'm really excited for season 2. While Matt's army seems kind of sparse right now, I'm excited to see who joins those ranks in season 2. And I can just see generally what they were trying to do. I don't think they thought that hard about the timeline of it. And I think they needed this to be one night just to keep the sense of urgency coming out of the assassination attempt. But it doesn't really make sense if you start to think about it that hard.
It really, it is a little tough. I mean, I do like the big swing they're taking here with this kind of finale, and like a very Empire Strikes Back kind of they won their little battle, but they've lost the war, right? Kingpin's still in charge, and like the city is loving it. Like, we love this. This is great. It's kind of fun, but it does feel like, yeah, will the rest of the MCU acknowledge this any time in between now and season 2? I don't know. Jessica, are there things you really liked about this episode? Like, what were some of your favorite moments from this episode?
Yeah, I like when they killed Cole North a lot.
Yeah.
Just because I don't like Cole North. He killed Hector Ayala.
Did that feel like cathartic for you? Did you want, like, Matt to do it? Or do you like that Matt's like, no, I'm not going to do it?
I just needed him dead.
Yeah.
And so I didn't care who did it. But I was happy that it was done. Because then I would have been mad if Frank Castle would have listened to Matt and was like, oh, I don't need to do this. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that changes who you are as a character. And I think you're a mess, and you need to stay the way you are. Broken and a mess. Daredevil, I know, like, over and over again is constantly trying to fix himself and not knowing how to do it and always questioning his own morals. But I'm like, you can do that. Let Punisher do what he does and kill everybody in this room.
I did like when he was like, no, Frank, don't do it. You can't kill him. He's like, oh yeah, what about that one? Bam! Just like shoots another one. I was like,
a quick example.
This is wild. And like, I did like Cole North, hand stuck to the wall with his little radio, being like, Frank Castle's here. Frank Castle.
Please get him out of here.
So gently on his radio. I mean,
I think those parts are important, just as it's like, yeah, Frank Castle's not a good teammate. That's why he's not a part of the Defenders. Like, a million reasons why he's not part of the Defenders. But I'm like, he's not a good teammate. He's not good to work with. He only works alone, and the way he does his business isn't ever just like, it's not okay to do it his way. But that's what makes Punisher Punisher.
Yeah.
Do we think Cole North loosed the grenade? Like,
do you have one on him or something?
Because maybe he's like, I'm gonna die either way.
I assume him being on the radio, backup started coming upstairs.
And then they threw a grenade
through
the window?
in.
I just think it's crazy. I think it would have had to have been one of the guys in the room. For someone else to throw a grenade, you don't know which of your fellow goons are still alive. I think it's one of them who's just like, well, if I can't live, no one should live.
Yeah.
And I just wish that they included an insert to show us which of them threw it. Because I thought it was just a little unclear. And I think if you're going to kill off Cole North that way, we deserve to know who threw the grenade. I just thought it was a little...
I would say if I had the apartment under them, I'd be throwing the grenade. Because I'd be like, this guy's making so much noise.
They got a broom. They're like,
Yeah.
Shut up there. I'm trying to sleep. Just go to bed, Brandon. No, I'm throwing a grenade in there. I'm done.
A grenade.
It's a blackout, baby. We can do whatever we want. Evan.
Jessica had mentioned the Defenders. Lots of people asking about, talking about Matt's quote-unquote army and the lack of Defenders there.
Rude teasing.
Yeah,
there was a bald man driving Gallo named Luke.
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
And they're like, don't show him. You just see his eyes.
I said that's a bald black man.
Yeah.
There's only one bald black man in the MCU.
You don't have to name him Luke. You can name him
anything else. Yeah.
Anything else.
I mean, well-rounded mom had sent in some bits pointing out that exactly, and they were like, it can't be Luke Cage because the tattoo needle couldn't pierce his skin.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, once we saw that.
But we didn't say, once we saw the needle, once we saw the tattoo, we were like, this isn't Luke Cage.
Yeah.
But when it was just a bald black man, I was like, that might be Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Luke. I was like 100%.
That was wild.
Also, I don't think if this is a continuation from the Netflix one now officially, I feel like if he does reach out to Jessica Jones, she didn't really care. She was like, this is kind of a joke to me.
Yeah.
This is silly. I hate this. She didn't even want to be a part of the Defenders at first. She was the one trying to leave. So I think Jessica Jones would be the next Defender to be put into the MCU other than Daredevil and then Luke Cage. So I don't think there's going to be a Defenders coming in for his army next season.
I mean, AJ Hawkins sent in a super chat saying, must admit, I laughed when his, quote, army was Cherry, Josie, and some rando cops. Don't forget Angie Kim. Wasn't expecting Spider-Man, but Defenders at least, And also, Eric, I know you were thinking that maybe we'd get Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, right? Yeah.
I think before they retooled the show, I bet Kamala Khan showed up. You know what I mean? Because it seems like that's where they were going with this show, was bringing back Karen and Foggy and the original Vanessa. They had Jack Duquesne in the show. They had, obviously, Kamala's dad. I think the post-credit scene in the original version of the show would be Daredevil at dinner, or Matt Murdock at dinner with the Khan family.
See, my thinking is that the original version of the show was even more disconnected from the rest of the MCU. I think part of the notes of the redo were to really connect it to Daredevil Season 3 and really connect it to the MCU in specific ways like Pim Van Dyne Easter eggs and that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know if we would have had Kamala Khan. I think they're like, you can do Swordsman and you can do Yusuf Khan, and that is it. And then so that's all we had in 2 through 7. But yeah, I it's not like I'm disappointed. I mean, Kamala Khan, she still is in kind of her own world, and we need to see her meet Matt Murdock. It would have been kind of weird to see her show up, but very exciting. I know that they didn't have Kristen Ritter or Mike Coulter yet. That would have been too early. But I just think like there was no one interesting. They set us up to be like, we're building an army, and it was characters that were.
You're wearing her name on your chest right now. You said she's not interesting.
Hey, she's great, but she cannot fight.
She's gonna throw those beer bottles.
Yeah, let me take a couple more shots, and I'm gonna take care.
Also, could you imagine Josie pulling out the laptop, being like, "Okay, I'm on it," chugging that whatever the
Molotov cocktails.
Yeah,
I think Josie's most valuable contribution is just pouring drinks back.
Like, just having a headquarters, having a space to come back.
She's got a beer nuts in her pocket. She throws them at the beer nuts. That's a great point you just made about the show we're watching. And before we get to our next point, I'd like to thank one of our sponsors today, which is Mando. Spring is in the air and the weather's heating up. And that means we're all remembering exactly what we smell like when it's hot outside. If you don't want a bubble of body odor announcing your presence, try sticking it to your stink with Mando. Mando's whole body deodorant comes in 3 forms: invisible spray, solid stick, and invisible cream. It's clinically proven 72-hour odor control, so it's perfect for long Saturdays at the beach, Sundays at the park, and Monday mornings when you just want to smell good. Mando stops odor before it starts, and it's safe to use on your entire body, pits, package, and feet, and everywhere in between. Mando comes in 4 cologne quality scents: Bourbon Leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and Clover Woods. Personally, I really like the Mount Fuji. It smells the best in my pits. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like their mini body wash and deodorant wipes. And it also comes with free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off their starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. So use code BREAKROOM at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
I think it's a good way to kind of segue into some of the conversations that people are having about, Spider-Man and potentially other heroes. Like what could they have been doing during this moment, and also how this relates to the Defenders. Kobe-Wan Kenobi and asking what could be an in-universe reason for Spider-Man not involving himself in literal riots all over New York. Are we to assume he was just swinging off screen?
Well, we can assume if there are riots all over the place, he's putting out some fires over there.
Yeah, and if he's still helping with that soup kitchen that his aunt was working at, he's probably still helping those people in this black.
He gets a spidey sense. He looks over. He sees a building. The grenade go off, and he's like, "Ooh, glad I'm not over there. Oof, rough."
Yeah.
He spidey sense goes off, and he swings by, and he sees Frank Castle stabbing a bunch of cops, and he's like, "I'm gonna stay out of this."
Also, if it's just a blackout, and it happens naturally in New York, you're like, "Oh, this is just a natural thing that happens." Right. When riots break out, what the hell is he gonna do to 500 people in the city?
Yeah.
He's like, I can't stop a bunch of innocent people that are just rioting and looting, because that's also what they see. He's not in the mix of it all. We even see a cop just place a mask on a guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. It just sounds like it sounds like the LA riots. It just sounds like, these are normal people just going out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in the past where people are like, where were the Eternals during these events? And if the X-Men have existed in the MCU, why wouldn't they help against the fight against Thanos? Maybe they did, and they just haven't shown us yet. Mm-hmm. That's my go-to solution. So Peter Parker was in New York. It could have been way worse. There are all kinds of horrible things happening up in Queens, Astoria, and in Central Park. And Peter Parker was there, fighting the good fight, helping. He was taking Mr. Delmar's cat out of a tree and putting it back in the bodega. There's all kinds of things that Peter Parker was doing. We just didn't see it. And maybe we'll see him, a flashback scene of him fighting Mr. Negative during the blackout period in Brand New Day. That'd be kind of fun.
Place your bets. Which upcoming movie references either Kingpin as mayor or the events of this show? Do we hear about it in Thunderbolts, or do we hear about it in Brand New Day? Can be a throwaway line. I think Val will have a line in Brand New Day that references the current mayor of New York. I think she will.
Val and Thunderbolts?
Val and Thunderbolts will say something about New York.
Yes.
And the current mayoral administration.
I think there will be one line that is ADR, that is like off screen, and we won't see people mouth it, but we'll just hear Julie Louis-Dreyfus's voice or someone's voice off screen mentioning the crisis currently in New York or the martial law of New York.
Yeah, Flitz had sent in some bits. Oh, that's fun. Saying that it's up to Thunderbolts, the movie, to explain why the Avengers aren't there, right? And that's a line we've heard in the trailer. And why exactly there is this, like they were basically saying it's not, I've seen backlash about Spidey not being there, but that doesn't matter because there's a whole bigger question of like, if there are Avengers or if there are no Avengers, then what is the solution going to be? The Winter Recruit and Silhouetted Animator both sending questions, super chats about the relationship with Thunderbolts. The Winter Recruit saying, I'm assuming martial law would be over by the time Thunderbolts and Brand New Day, right? That's the title of the Spider-Man movie. Brand New Day happened since this show was originally one season, meaning we won't have a time gap between seasons. Interesting. Silhouetted Animator saying, depending on when Thunderbolts takes place before or after season 2, New York will be facing another widespread blackout under Fisk, thanks to the Void. Yeah, so, I mean, that is an interesting thing, right? Like, with the 18-episode stuff, like, do we think this whole martial law thing would have been sorted out within 2 seasons, and now the release dates are all, like, screwy and everything like that?
Well, we know Daredevil season 2 is coming out in 2026. Like they're shooting it now. It'll be wrapped. It'll be ready to go before we see Doomsday or Secret Wars or Secret Wars or Brand New Day. So like I do think that some of the political martial law will be kind of done with by the end of Daredevil season 2, Born Again season 2. I think Fisk will still be mayor or will still be alive. Will still be a threat. But I think they're setting things up for season 2 because they know they can kind of finish this story in season 2.
Yeah.
But I do think the New York of Doomsday, a Brand New Day, will at least feel the impact of what's currently going on in small ways. But I think more so it's going to be affected by an incursion.
Yeah.
And I think they'll do a little time jump for season 2. I think it's not going to pick up right where this season left off. I think they'll establish like some time has gone by and the situation in New York has evolved, and maybe like New Yorkers love it and they love Fisk and they love martial law and they're having a great time, or it's a situation where the city doesn't like it, but he has Kingpin has a stranglehold on the city, and like kind of Daredevil teased this episode, they're building this kind of rebellion underneath what's going on in the city. Yeah, but we'll have to see. Evan?
And I think that kind of answers this super chat from Frederick Price, who I believe is one of the YouTube members.
Price.
Producer
Executive
level.
Producer, supporter of the new Rockstars channel.
If Daredevil's talking about an army, I can't see how it doesn't include the Defenders and Spider-Man, especially with Spidey's comic history with Kingpin. The MCU can't act like the rest of New York's heroes are oblivious to this. Yeah, so we'll see how they address it, right, over time in their own ways. Obviously, from a business perspective, it's a bit harder to get all these people in for Daredevil on Disney Plus.
That getting Spider-Man on a Disney Plus show is moving a lot of weight that I don't think they can move.
Yeah.
Though I do think they'll bring in the LARPers from Hawkeye. I think put them in your army, dude.
Yeah.
Give them some foam swords. Let them go out there and do some stuff.
Whichever the tracksuits are left.
Oh yeah, some of the tracksuits. Maybe a Lucas family who wants some revenge, something like that. I don't know.
Echo. I mean, I was hoping we'd see like Echo in there.
Yeah.
No, she's been on Disney Plus before.
That's true.
Had her in the bar.
That point was so good, it makes me want to take a nap. And if I was going to take a nap, I'd be napping in some awesome Miracle Made sheets. Miracle Made makes sheets that are keeping us sleeping at the perfect temperature all night, every night, as summer starts to begin here in LA. Sure, it's still spring, but it feels like it's as hot as summer. These sheets are crazy comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands. Miracle Made's fabric was inspired by NASA, so it's thermoregulating, keeping your bed at the right temperature all year long. Plus, Miracle Made sheets are infused with silver. That prevents bacterial growth. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne, so sleeping with Miracle Made sheets is good for your skin too. Upgrade your sleep as the weather heats up. Go to trymiracle.com/breakroom to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code BREAKROOM at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/breakroom and use the code breakroom to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/breakroom to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring today's video.
Should we try to break down how Karen got to San Francisco, to New York so quickly?
Let's try to figure it out. What do you say?
Yeah.
So Karen did say, when she rolls up in her car, she says, I heard Dex escaped. I called Frank and I hopped on a plane. So that's where we begin, right? Because it's all one night. The same night of the assassination. Dex escapes from prison.
And we know it has been the same night. They're all wearing the same bloody clothes. It was the next morning, and Wilson Fisk, in his speech the next morning, said, last night, an attempt was made on my life.
Right.
So we're not talking about multiple days. This was the same night.
Dex escapes from prison. We see him get on the bus. It's like nighttime. So what do we want to say? That's like 6:30 p.m.?
Yeah. We
Does
could
that
say
feel okay?
it was nighttime. It could have been before daylight savings, but we don't.
It was 6? You want to give it 6?
We can give it 6 p.m. New York time, just to make it a nice round number. Eastern time. So Dex gets on the bus. It's dark outside. And Karen is in San Francisco.
Okay.
At this point.
She gets a call from somebody. Because the news of Dex escaping, Buck tells Vanessa, but who tells Karen? Someone from the prison?
So Karen would have some contacts who work at Rikers. I think we just have to assume that either shortly before or shortly after, the guy who calls Buck and says, hey, he escaped. There's someone else who works at the prison and says, Miss Page, it's Joey from Cell Block D from Gen Pop.
Okay.
You said I owed you a favor. This guy who killed your friend Foggy Nelson, he got out.
He's out. Within an hour, you think?
I think let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's say it's at the same time. Like this guy is seeing the bus drive away. So we can say 6:01 p.m.
It's 6:01.
We're trying to find as much time as we can.
He calls Buck, or he calls Karen before he calls Buck.
Yeah, let's say someone else calls Karen before that guy called Buck.
So, this is 3 o'clock Pacific time.
3:01 San Francisco time. Okay. So Karen hightails.
She hightails it to SFO or Oakland. We don't know which airport.
Which you can get to SF depending on where she lives. Say there's no traffic, you can get to SFO real fast. SFO to JFK is about a 5-hour flight minimum. Now you got some headwind taking you, so maybe you can do that flight in less time. But let's say she lands at JFK at 11 p.m. Right? Is that possible? No.
Well, no. Because if it's 5 hours, it's 11 p.m., but then it's 1 a.m. Eastern. No, right? Sorry. No. Okay, I see. Never mind.
Do it this way. Karen's going to take off. She finds out at 6:01. She's not taking off before 7 o'clock.
Yeah, because and there's not a lot of flights, from SFO to JFK that leave at that hour. You can do afternoon flights that land kind of in the evening hours. You can do red eyes that leave around the 11 o'clock hour, but you don't have a lot of West Coast to East Coast flights that leave at the dinner time hour.
I mean, something that throws a whole wrench into this. Brandon's been McJack Attack pointing out Brandon this whole season has been saying that Karen's been dating Shang-Chi.
Right.
What if Karen was like, hey, Sean, I know you got some superpower friends. Any chance I could get back to New York a little quicker? He calls up Wong. He's like, Wong, I need a huge favor. I need a huge favor. I'm seeing this girl. She's great. I just need you to do a little sling ring thing.
A little bro code. A little bro code sling ring.
I like that. I think that's probably the most direct route she could take is a sling ring immediate portal, so she could get there sooner. But
she goes right to the Enterprise to rent a car, right? And then that slows her down a little bit.
She said she hopped on a plane, but is that because she doesn't want to explain her man?
Yeah, maybe.
So if she hopped on a plane, let's think about this from a different way. We live in a post-blip reality where Stark tech exists. Could there be access to a Stark superjet that can get across the country faster?
Bumming with Bo saying, is Karen still working in media? She would have access to private flights, possibly. She could charter her own flight, leave whenever she wants.
Is she on a Pim Van Dyne charter plane?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Van Dyne Foundation. They must have a charter, like a jet stream or something like that. That can move real fast.
Okay, let's say she takes off at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
It's at least 5 hours. We'll say she gets in at midnight.
Okay, yeah, midnight.
Midnight she lands. Okay. So that's 12 a.m.
Because Matt also needed time to recover. The reason Matt can recover fast is, but also Stick taught him in season 1 how to concentrate and meditate on his healing abilities and kind of will his flesh back together. Matt was unconscious during this time, so maybe he's so good at this, his mind just does it unconsciously. Okay?
Right. And he wakes up and he says, Karen?
Best moment. That was my favorite moment of the whole series.
Best friends, Kristen McDuffie and Heather Glenn, are finally together in the room, and they have a conversation about Matt. Where she goes, he's on drugs.
Kirsten really standing up for her, business partner.
What kind of drugs?
So Matt wakes up somewhere in between 7 p.m. and midnight.
Let's say Matt wakes up at 11. Now, when does the shot happen? We need to show the timeline of the ball, shot. Maybe in the third column.
Okay. So Dex escapes at least an hour to get from the prison to the island of Manhattan.
So we can say 7 p.m. right here is when Dex makes it to the ball.
Okay.
Jess is just taking all this in.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I simply don't understand.
Dex arrives at ball at 7 p.m.
And then pretty soon after
it's like
he arrives.
20 minutes he takes the shot, I would say, right?
He
Maybe
seems
less.
to go straight through the kitchen. He kind of does like a Henry Hill and Goodfellas path to go straight through the kitchen, grab that poker fork off of the deep fryer, which might be the most illogical thing happen on this series. Why would you just place it at an angle on a deep fryer like that? Very unsafe.
Yeah.
So he takes the shot at 7:20? We like 7:20?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll see.
Also, flip side here asking, did Matt explain She-Hulk to Karen? I don't think Karen needs to explain herself to Matt. Yeah, do we think Karen knows?
I mean, we won't even get to the fact that he's complaining about her texting Frank in the middle of all of this. Like, now is not the time, Matt. Read the effing room, dude. I could hear his heartbeat. I could hear your heartbeat. What a crybaby simp, dude. What crybaby simp.
Oh, and Unsecret Identity saying that it's 11:30 p.m. when they are at the Punisher's hideout. There's a clock in one of the shots.
No way.
There is. He's not wrong.
But
they're not wrong.
What time is Frank on? He's on. I'm on mountain time for my boy. I don't know.
That person went back to the episode and skimmed.
I'm going back right now. I'm looking for it.
Matt.
I see it. It says it's 11:25. There's a clock that's 11:25 there. Could it be broken?
Is the clock? It could be broken. Also, he could have it on like Afghanistan time because that's where he and his group was.
It could also be that the writers did not think of any of this.
Impossible.
No, that's not possible.
And we're doing the homework for them.
Right. That's impossible. I think they must have done this work.
Yeah.
That's 7:20. Karen lands at
the writer was like, why does the production team put a clock in that room? Why does it say 11 p.m.?
That is funny, though. I actually do, like, if I have spent an extended amount of time somewhere, I'll keep the world clock open on my phone. I'll say, this is the time in Houston right now.
I can't read military time, let alone other people. I didn't even know that they were that far ahead, and I was on the East Coast last weekend.
Yeah.
So Matt would have had to have been in the hospital. Buck needed time to get to the hospital. Buck needed time to be with Fisk at the Gracie Mansion.
Well, make sure to write the 11 p.m. down.
What's at 11?
No, that's when they get to Punisher's hideout.
Yeah, we're not even there.
11:30.
Well, wherever you're gonna write Punisher thing, you might as well just already cut it off and say 11 p.m. down there.
But that can't be right.
Well, it says it on the clock. We're going by what they say in the show.
The clock is right.
No, the clock is right because it's in the show. We're going off of what the show's telling us. That's all we have.
The clock is wrong.
Oh, good.
I think but I'm assuming the clock is right too.
Nice.
I think you have to erase 12 a.m. It has to be like. We just have to assume that Karen took a super fast jet. That's the only way this works.
Yeah. Okay.
Only
so we won't say what time Karen lands.
We'll say Karen lands at like 10. I know that's a fast plane.
Okay, so
let's say Stark Tech exists well enough. Look, Stark Tech powered those missiles that fired from the Japanese fighter planes on the president's warship in Brave New World. You got to imagine there's jet thrusters from Stark Tech that could power commercial jets.
So Karen stitches Matt and Frank at 11:20 p.m. That's what we're saying.
Why are you saying 11:20? It's 11:30.
11:30?
11:20. It's 11:25. 11:25. That's what the clock. That's what I see. I see the clock. 11:25. Okay. If someone wants to go in and they want to say, Evan, it's actually 11:30 in later part of the scene.
Read an analog clock.
Listen, the skill leaves my brain every day.
Well, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. Ugh, that's gonna stress me out. I need to relax. And for some of us, we turn to a little 420 for relaxing, and we're not here to judge. You know, for some people, 420 is just a holiday. For others, it's a nice excuse to relax and take some me time. Whichever camp you fall into, Via has something for you. If you haven't tried them yet, you're missing out. Whether you need to unwind, refocus, or boost your mood, Via is here to enhance your everyday. Trusted by over 500,000 happy customers, Via is changing the game in natural wellness, blending powerful, high-quality hemp-derived ingredients to deliver real, effect-driven benefits. Whether you're looking to sleep better, have better libido, improve focus, recover, or simply relax, Via has a tailored solution for you. With products ranging from 0 to high cannabinoid levels, Via lets you fully customize your experience to fit your needs. Whether you're looking to support your daily wellness routine, enhance focus and clarity, or unwind with deep relaxation, Via has you covered. From their award-winning effect-forward gummies to calming drops, every Via product is thoughtfully crafted, made with organic, lab-tested hemp sourced from trusted, independent, American-owned farms. And the best part, Via legally ships across the USA, discreet, direct to your door, no medical card required, and backed by a worry-free guarantee. Not sure where to start? Take Via's Product Finder quiz to get your personalized recommendations tailored to your needs. It can take you less than 60 seconds to complete. So if you're 21 or over, treat yourself to Via's annual Spring 420 sale. Black Friday level savings up to 35% off site-wide right now, and up to 50% off packs and bundles, and get a free gift plus more savings with your first order using our exclusive code BREAKROOM at the link in our description. Plus, enjoy free shipping on orders $100 or over. Check it out. Thanks, Via, for sponsoring us today. Okay, so Karen stitches Matt. Matt cries like a simp. Karen.
Why are you so hung up on that?
Because,
Brandon?
dude, so much is going on. And he's such a crybaby in that moment about, like, why are you texting Frank? Why are you talking to Frank and not to me? It's like, dude, read the room, okay? Read the room. Your girlfriend just became the minister of health. And you're over here. Yeah, get your minutes in here.
What is happening?
Say, looks like we got a time.
This is the only clock I can read.
Oh, okay.
This is my nightmare come to life.
Hey, y'all, someone flew too fast.
Someone flew too fast.
We haven't counted on the TVA being a part of this, but it is possible.
So in between...
What the fuck's
Karen stitches Matt here. So Matt's got to get out of the hospital at some point around here, right? Mm-hmm. Matt escapes Buck. Escapes Buck.
Are you using colors for different characters? So
I was
Dex
trying
in
to
blue,
think.
Karen in red. I love Dex in blue. What a good choice.
Matt escapes Buck, and I'm running out of colors. Kingpin initiates Blackout at the same time.
Yeah, what time is the Kingpin blackout? He looked at his clock. We can see Buck's clock in the episode, right? His wrist clock? Wristwatch.
His wrist clock.
Wristwatch is a word I was reaching for there.
Yeah.
We can know, like, from that, or do we just see second hands?
Sorry, which part again?
It's in the hospital during the killing.
Okay,
softly,
let me see.
Countdown.
That's right.
This is important work.
This is important work.
We're doing the work.
We need to know minute by minute what happened.
This is behind the breakdown, you know?
We're really going behind the breakdown. We're going behind the behind, which Matt's butt was out, and they didn't show us.
See in second. I'm just seeing him check it, but
also Matt traversed the city in his hospital gown.
Yeah.
And we were talking is he playing? Is he doing his thing where he's not blind? Where he's acting like he's not blind in that instance, right? Or did he find his cane amongst his stuff?
I do think it's just New York and no one's going to notice.
There's a black guy going on, crazy man wandering the street
in
his hospital gown. He's not going to pretend to be blind.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Another Tuesday.
Just another Tuesday.
Another Tuesday.
Yeah.
In the Big Apple.
So we'll say this happens at 10?
Yeah.
10 p.m.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think 10 p.m. That's a safe amount of time.
And then somewhere in there isn't...
They fight.
Does Sheila and Daniel interrogate the city council people before the blackout happens or after?
After.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have emergency lights.
So
Also,
10 p.m., boom.
how annoying that must be for the city council people to be like, we got to go into work now after the blackout, you know?
Yeah, how do they even get them in the room?
Yeah.
He dropped like a bomb that he's got money in a Swiss bank account.
Yeah.
So did he get him in there for some other reason?
Or they at 11 p.m. city council meeting.
Yeah.
City.
And then around that same time, Fisk is calling Buck. Oh, that's already happened. Around this time, Matt goes home because like 11:25, I think.
This has got to be.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got to do later because we got to go Matt back at his apartment.
Okay.
And also, Litchi in the chat pointing out that the clock it's on a wall, would have been wall powered. Would
No,
it have
they have batteries.
all clocks have batteries?
Most of
Most
them.
wall clocks have batteries.
Yeah, they're not wired in.
I guess I'm young.
What would they be
And
wired
back in the
to?
1900s.
Yeah,
you
I'm
used to use
confused. I was like, what would
batteries.
they be wired to? To just like an outlet?
Yeah.
An analog clock to an outlet?
Yeah.
And that scene in Agatha all along, Evan's like, I don't understand what the
You're
problem
like a sundial.
Yeah.
You're like, plug it in, bitch.
10:45. Frank and Matt battle
That's funny.
the
Yeah.
cops.
Yeah. At the apartment. That all happened kind of in real time, right? We saw that happen. Although Matt needed time to run back to the roof and get in his suit,
Right.
and his mask.
That's when I think the fight starts at 10:45. At 10, he's out of the hospital. At
10:30,
10:45
he's home. 10:45 fight. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say.
But how does Karen call Frank? Does she call him from the plane?
She pays for the Wi-Fi.
Boingo?
The Boingo.
So Karen pays.
She's on
for the
Skype,
hotspot.
and the flight attendants are like, "Ma'am, you're not allowed to make video calls when you're on. You're not allowed to make video calls when you're on a
It's
flight."
Gina.
No, I was being, you were being Karen, trying to make a call to Frank, and I was being
Yeah,
like,
and it's work.
"This is work.
Gina's work.
This is work."
Gina is my work.
Gina's
She's all I care about.
Gina can come in.
Gina's all I care about.
Daredevil.
And if you hurt her, you hurt me.
Okay, so Karen pays to the Boingo hotspot on this super fast Stark jet. Wait, does Stark have his own wireless network through all the drones?
Yeah,
He
he's
must
got
be
his
connected
version
to a
of Starlink,
Wi-Fi.
right?
So Edith, she uses like some kind of commercially, publicly available version of Edith.
Okay.
The Edith net to call Frank. She remembers Frank's number. Frank is like, what? And he wakes up, and then he goes to Matt's apartment. Okay, I think we got.
I think we
get
got it.
stitched up at 11:25. Then they got to go to the storage locker
Uh-huh.
to figure that out. At least an hour, right?
Yeah, because he's in. Well, the storage locker could be close. It's in Hell's Kitchen, right?
Right.
Because Foggy had his home there.
Yeah.
Josie's there. Matt's there.
So now it's midnight and they're at the storage locker.
Yeah, midnight at the storage locker.
Midnight at the Oasis.
Okay. I'm feeling better about this now, guys.
Yeah, the
Right.
power down.
I mean, this still hinges on a very fast flight.
I need someone to send this to the writers of Daredevil and ask us if we got it right.
Yeah. We're also assuming that this plane could even land anywhere close to New York, considering that probably JFK and LaGuardia were blacked out also.
I'm friends with the writer's assistant. I can take a picture and send
Yeah.
it to him.
Yeah.
Like, did they bother doing this?
What if she landed in
I'll-
Newark? Because we know Jersey City did not black out.
Yes,
They were hit
yeah.
shot.
And
She
maybe
lands in Newark.
Miss Marvel light stepped her across the Hudson. You know what I mean? Gave her-
Oh,
gave her a little
yeah.
step
Her
across.
car. Her car is just like Fast
Uh-huh.
and Furious 7 leapfrogging across these hard light platforms.
Yeah.
First they go to the storage
Harrison,
locker.
get off the plane.
Harrison, come
He's
on.
coming so close.
I
Yeah.
can't find the landing strip.
I'm
So
looking
they go
for
to the storage
Betty.
locker, and then
They're gonna crash into us.
the plane is getting closer.
Everybody on live is gonna watch us all die on camera.
This is insane sound.
coming in low. How long are they at the storage locker reading the Magna Carta?
Shush, I'm
I
gonna
don't know.
die.
I'm trying to.
They're only like
She's
30
got
minutes.
a drone just trying to interrupt her stream right now. Ryan,
Right? Yeah. Probably 30 minutes, right? Because that whole scene we see is like,
How far is Hell's Kitchen from Red Hut?
let's see. I have Google Maps up.
Okay.
it's not close.
In our universe, right? This is all to say it's our
'cause
universe.
They could be missing some streets.
Hell's Kitchen to Red Hook is is like 10 miles. If
And
you
they're
take
going on
FDR
foot,
Drive.
or unless they're in Karen's rental car still.
Yeah.
They're still in Karen's rental car.
Yeah,
gotta
assume
be.
at this point they have Karen's rental.
Yeah.
Good
Matt
Alamo
in
rental that
Daredevil
she got
outfit is
through her
sitting in the
Costco
front seat.
membership. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, is that a mass vigilante in that car? They're illegal now,
It does feel like a TMZ photo of like blowing in the front seat. It's like him. It's him instead, just staring straight ahead.
So 12:30, they're at Red Hook.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
Okay, maybe this does make sense.
It does not make sense.
Okay. Okay.
Riot lands in Borneo at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Take this. You need
Wait,
it
is
more.
that Karen? Karen's the riot pin?
No, I'm talking about the Riot symbiote who lands in Borneo.
But red is Karen's color.
We're out of colors.
We're out of colors.
We can only afford 3 colors.
Let me know when you're done with red. I'll take it. I need it.
I think we have a violet somewhere.
Red Hook.
Just use the Sharpie.
And then, okay, now Frank Castle needs to get captured.
Which happens probably
Maybe at the
concurrent.
same time in here.
Well, don't they know he hears on the walkie, right? Like they're gonna search for them.
Oh, yeah.
And then
So after Karen stitches Matt, they head to the storage locker, and Frank goes after the fanboys.
yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we're all in the cloak of night at this point. So
You
it's
stop writing about riot.
context to know where Riot is at this point.
Oh my goodness.
He's making his way downtown, walking fast.
Walking fast?
Faces fast.
Faces down?
Okay.
And he's homebound.
All right. Should we? Do you have enough space to lay out the rest of the events, Brandon? Because I want to just get to
leaving
some
this
questions
all
and
Yeah,
comments
why is
really
that
quick.
column open?
Just for everything else that's happening. We'll
We'll have to
that's
tighten it in right here.
Yeah. Silhouetted animator sent in a super chat earlier saying Gallows' origin is Baron Underbite from Venture Brothers.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I knew
Where
Jeff's
do
going to
you
get that
think
one.
Gallo fits in here?
Where's Gallo's accent?
I mean, Gallo throws the whole timeline off too because the whole.
Stop throwing wrenches in this. They're doing a great
Well,
job.
and you think about it too. This is Gallo's night. Gallo goes to the black and white ball. Okay, he sees a cop deep frying a man's hand. He gets approached by BB Urich. He has a conversation with Sheila where she's like, "Yeah, buddy, I got you back. I got your back 100%." She doesn't, but I guess she feels bad about it. But she doesn't want to die. I don't know. He goes to. He gets picked up by Luke, a man we have not met, but he's got a deep history with.
Is it Luke Cage?
It's not Luke Cage. I'm so sorry, Jessica. It's not.
That's confusing.
It is a bald black man, but it's not Luke Cage.
So probably Gallo talks to Sheila maybe right before 10 p.m. It's right before the blackout.
Okay.
And then shortly, maybe around 10:30, gets picked up by Luke, not Luke Cage. And then it would be at the same time as Frank going after the fanboys, right? Because Frank is talking to Powell at the same time.
Because Powell's not at the Squish meeting.
He's not at the Squish meeting. So
What's the Squish meeting?
it's around midnight.
Oh,
it's around midnight when Gallo's head gets crushed.
Gallo Goner.
Gallo Gooning?
No, there's only one O.
Oh.
Gallo Goner.
Oh, toast is done.
And that thing came from Miss Minutes telling
Miss
us
Minutes
that
is correct.
we fixed the timeline. Oh, here she
Oh
goes.
God! Don't let her back in here. She's too big for the camera.
Then what happens? So at 1 a.m., what do we think happens?
Evan is so cute. Evan is so cute. Evan, we could make this into a costume, and then you could wear like black heels with it.
At this point, I think we're
That's
good.
funny.
I think
So
there's
1
not
a.m.,
much-
they're back
the
at Josie's
moves.
bar?
No, it's sunlight. It's sunrise.
Oh, that comes late. Oh, yeah, the sun is
It's
coming
like
up.
dusk at that point.
So what
Or
happens?
dawn. No, it's dawn.
So they get all this wrapped up by like 12:30?
Yeah. Well, I think that we have more flexibility on this part of the night. It's really Karen.
It's
that
Karen
really
that... How did she get there?
Stark
Tech?
propulsion technology on a jet.
I mean, I'm starting to vibe now with this theory of Wong giving her a sling ring, and Wong says like, whatever you do, just say you took a plane. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go through some of the other super chats and questions. Guys, thank you for all your work figuring out that timeline.
Hey, you know,
this is
So the
important
boys,
work.
the boys.
I don't think we really figured out how Karen got there, but if they want to stick to this 11:25, I mean, the mayor's ball was ruined very early. Also, I guess they take Jack Duquesne directly from the ball to the cage.
I assumed.
Yeah,
They must. Yeah.
and Artemis Sledge. Did we see Artemis down there?
We didn't see Artemis. We see Arthur, but Artemis is credited in the episode, so we probably did see her in the background.
That's not fair. She can get a gilded cage.
Yeah.
So do we think the billionaires have like the Chase mobile app and they're able to still do funds and then they're like, all right, and they do the facial scan on their faces in the cage so that they're able to be like transfer over another $400,000 into this Red Hook revitalization account?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he can never let them go.
Because I think the thinking is if you just kind of send goons over to intimidate them at their Park Avenue, penthouses, then they can just flee to the Caymans or flee to some other country that the goons can't go to because they have felonies and they can't get passports. So you have to keep them in cages so that they can keep sending these wireless transfers from their Chase mobile accounts.
That makes sense. I think that makes complete sense.
I think it's the only thing that makes sense.
All right, let's run through some questions here. Joe Swanson had sent in a super chat earlier saying, just wanted to say thank you all for all the breakdowns and the conversations they lead to. Can't wait for a second season. Daredevil in an MCU movie soon, fighting. What do we think? I think the likelihood of him being in a movie, honestly, to me, has gone down after this first season.
Daredevil?
Personally, yeah.
Interesting. I think they'll definitely put him in Doomsday. If Doomsday involves any sort of New York action, he will show up in it. I hope.
Not that helpful, but yeah.
Yeah, if anything, like the way New York looks right now makes it feel like it could fit into Battle World a bit more. I know it seems kind of unlikely in some ways, but doesn't it feel like a less street level New York? Maybe it's just me obsessing over how bright those stars were in a light pollution-free New York. It kind of feels like, this is a New York that's more open to cosmic anomalies in this universe. And I don't know, I could see a version of this New York. It's just somewhat crazier now. So the crazier, the more likely it could show up in some form in Doomsday.
If you live in like Long Island, but you work in the city, do you go to your job the next day? Or do you I'm going to work from home, I think, until you guys figure out what's going on in Manhattan?
Yeah, I'd be taking a day off.
Yeah. So,
Kenzie,
we were saying too, there's got to be people who slept through all of this, and you wake up to a live stream from the mayor being unhinged, and he's like, I know that there was an attack on my life last night. And you're like, I don't know what this guy's talking about.
You're like, what?
Yeah, that's me. I sleep through earthquakes, sleep through fires.
I slept through the riot.
Yeah. Kenzie Kugler saying, call your local Congressman Bucky Barnes. Well, we know he's not going to be fixing anything.
That's why he gets ousted from his seat.
People were saying that in the chat, that maybe he goes after Wilson Fisk, and that's why he gets ousted.
Hilarious.
Rianne saying, I think it's 12:57 on the phone when Sheila rats Gallo out. Interesting. We might have to do a deeper dive into this.
That messes up everything.
Yeah, that messes up.
Back to the board.
Deacon Unverfirth saying, longtime fan since I was a little kid. Interesting. Thank you for tuning in and watching for so long after all these years. I'm waiting for the breakdown. Almost out soon. What do we think about Vanessa's...
No, they lived their whole life and then they invented a time machine and came back.
I mean, didn't you guys start in 2016? So
yeah, I mean, I guess New Rockstar has been around in some form since.
If he started watching when he was 10, he's 20 now.
Yeah.
You're still a little kid if you're 20. Is
still a little kid.
No,
I just want to know, how old were you when you felt like, I'm a man now, or I'm an adult now?
It's when you watch that scene in Eternals where they get down. You're like, now I'm a man.
That's when Brandon lost his innocence.
Yeah.
Got him.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna
Harrison circling back.
Harrison circling around.
Yeah.
It's rude.
It's wild.
This is people's workplaces. Keep a drone out of the sky, you dumbass.
And we're also around 1 million hotels. People are vacationing, resting.
Second one.
Someone's writing something in the sky. It's probably about Joe Rogan being 5'4" again.
Oh, okay.
It's Foggy still alive.
Yeah, someone in LA cares that much about Foggy Nelson.
It's Eldon Henson.
Oh, he paid for it.
Okay, so Deacon's question though was, what do we think about Vanessa's cough? Accident or intentional? I guess the cough at the beginning when she's pretty unsettled by the assassination attempt. I think that was just a natural thing, right? She's just kind of shaken up.
I didn't read too much into that.
Yeah.
I must say, I was blown away by the cold open in that they drugged up Bullseye, Dex, so he could just be in kind of a hospital. I was like, that makes so much sense. Forget these mittens. That's never gonna work, dude. Keep that guy drugged up so he can barely hold a pen or whatever. Yeah, that's what you need. I wanted to see him try and throw some stuff when he's high as hell. Oh, I got it. Just give me a second. My aim's a little off.
Give me a crayon.
Like, just give me something bigger to throw. Stop moving so much. I thought that was very smart. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, it makes sense that he's in an actual facility that's catering to his cycle.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy that, like, the security's not that tight, where that nurse just puts the pills on the table and the visitor scoots them away.
I know.
I think that was the most realistic, part.
These for me's.
I think it's post-blip. I think anytime I see an insane
they would be
issue,
in
I'm
the
just
blip.
like, these people are dealing with the blip.
Don't you think they're in the blip in that moment?
No,
right?
no. It was just a year before these events.
Also,
not
not all facilities are healthy or great, so it makes sense that they're probably like, we don't care about these people. Sorry, that's just 2 cents of how hospitals work in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's see. Some questions about Bullseye. Nether had asked, like, how could Dex have escaped in a place full of, task force members? And Clark's Madness sent in a super chat early saying, why did Bullseye keep Benny alive? And how do you guys feel about Maya's relationship was with Vanessa? If Vanessa and Echo, Maya Lopez had ever met, I suppose.
I don't
So two
think
separate
Vanessa
questions.
and Maya ever met. I think Fisk keeps his life pretty compartmentalized like that. Also, I think if Vanessa did know Maya, don't you think like she would have been more understanding for Fisk being away?
Yeah.
I
would think so.
Yeah.
But I don't see why he would keep it so separate from her. I don't know. It is weird. I mean, honestly, it's a product of like they never intended to bring this Vanessa back. And now that they have, it has created a mess.
Yeah.
I think initially when they brought in Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio into No Way Home, and then eventually Hawkeye and all that, it was going to be variants. It was not going to be the Netflix ones. It was going to be completely separate. And I think they realized how much the fan base loves the Netflix series, and they were like, let's just do it. But it has created a can of worms that they will never be able to suss through.
It is even hard to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because there is an active contingent of Save Daredevil people on the internet who firmly believe that this show was always going to be a 4th season of Daredevil from the Netflix era, and that the Charlie Cox and D'Onofrio, it doesn't matter what version, whether we're talking about the pre-reboot or post-reboot, it was always going to be it. I don't know. I don't know if they would have done that and cast Sandrine Holt to play Vanessa.
Yeah.
I just think after this show, it's very clear that there was just like some logical issues, and I think the reason why they didn't clearly specify these things, like the timeline, in the runtime of the show, is because they just like didn't know what rules they had in the world when they were first writing this version of the show. And then the Benson and Moorhead team came in and were given a different set of orders from the studio to kind of do a different thing. So yeah, I think now, very clearly it is, and I think it is better. The fact that it is connected to the first 3 seasons, it makes it for a better show.
Yeah.
It makes for a better MCU.
I think just move forward from here. Like, let's not worry about all the weird details of, the intervening years. And I think just keep telling the story, bring in the characters you want to bring in. There will be some stuff that just doesn't mesh, but it's fine. Like, those kind of logical fallacies exist all over the MCU. Even when they were always trying to connect stuff, they had to kind of make things work. I think, you've made your decisions. You've done a season of the show. Let's just move forward and keep going with the story you want to tell, and tell it in a more cohesive manner now.
I'm willing to give a lot of leeway. I understand there were issues. I mean, a lot of you guys came after me after episode 4 when we reacted to it. We could see the seams, and I think you guys were accusing
that was like the worst episode of the series.
Yeah, that and episode 7 I think might have had some issues, but I do think like it was okay for us to look for the seams, but also I'm not judging TV for having seams. Right. Like TV is not as like TV is more of a team effort of a lot of different cooks in the kitchen, and you can kind of see the sausage getting made. You can see the machinery of it. And I think it's kind of miraculous when TV can sort of stick the landing, at least in terms of the vibes and in terms of delivering most of the promises. There's always lingering questions and plot holes and kind of dangling plot lines. And I'm okay with that after a season of TV, so long as like I'm mostly satisfied. And this episode very much left Dex out of the equation,
Yeah.
Like, we don't know where he went after the ball, and it was messy. We don't know where he is at the end of the episode. We just know that there's kind of a callback where he adjusts the frame, and he just looks through a broken pane of glass, and does anyone know where he is?
I didn't know if that was trying to insinuate that was, like, a place he was in when he shot? Is he across the street from?
He was
Josie's
on a rooftop,
bar?
I believe, when he shot on.
Maybe this was Dumb Benny's apartment, but that was in Foggy's apartment, right? Wasn't Foggy stashed him at his place?
Yeah, Foggy stashed him at his place. I guess Foggy had just like a loose light bulb without a shade on it, right? If that was Foggy's apartment.
No, I think that. I don't know. I think Dex just slid into someone's apartment. And is like, this is my apartment now.
Yeah.
Do you think Bullseye will join Daredevil's army?
Yes, I think so.
You think they'll be able to put everything aside?
No.
Oh,
But I think
it'll
he'll
be
help
like
him.
a kind of truce.
Frenemies.
Okay, that'll be interesting. Do you want like a redeemed Bullseye?
No, I don't want him fully redeemed, but I want him fighting the same kind of fight. And in a war, any war, there's always weird alliances. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. And there's always just strange alliances. And then after that war ends, those people turn back against each other.
Yeah.
But like, there always has to be a big coalition of people who just temporarily fight along mutual interests. And that's it.
What about you, Jess? You love Dex.
I don't love Dex.
You're always saying like I can fix him.
I say the actor's fine as hell, and that's all I've been saying. Do not think Dex is fine as hell.
Do you think he'll join up with Daredevil though and fight against?
No, but I also just think it's like we saw how Daredevil worked with Punisher and he can't.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, what's a worse version of Punisher?
Daredevil
is
Bullseye.
Poindexter. So I'm like, I don't think they're gonna be able to work together because he's just gonna do it. He's just gonna keep sharpshooting people in the forehead.
Yeah, I love Bullseye as just like this chaos agent, where it's like, yeah, sometimes he shoots the people I need him to shoot, but sometimes he shoots me.
And sometimes
or
he
the people I love.
Yeah, he shot me again.
Yeah.
He keeps throwing knives at me.
I forget knives into my chest.
I forget which comic it is with Bullseye that like he just basically has his own team. But yeah, just also use Poindexter the way that we could have used Taskmaster.
Yeah.
And just do that. Yeah. And I would love that. And unlike Muse, just keep him evading. Keep him evading every single thing.
They can't catch him.
You can never catch Bullseye. Keep Wilson Bethel a job, dude. I like
he's great. He really
so
eats
good.
that role.
I'm glad they got him back for this.
Evan, some more questions?
Yeah, some final questions before we, give our last mural and give our last building toss here. Silhouetted Animator saying, my question, where's Matt's NYPD friend Brett Mahoney? What would Brett think about this corruption? He was important in the Netflix shows. Yeah, it's a topic that's come up a lot in the after shows. Maybe it was a scheduling thing. Maybe it was something that they realized like would have been better when they did the overhaul, but it was too late. They had already shot enough. They shot too much with Cherry. And honestly, I like Cherry just because she had more to do.
I like Cherry.
Yeah.
I like
more to do.
I like Cherry.
Actor's good.
Yeah.
Character.
They don't know what to do with Cherry and Kirsten McDuffie. They had like nothing for
They
them.
will for the second
And
season.
Angie Kim.
In the second season, they'll have an idea.
Yeah.
And it's just ripping them out. No, I'm joking. It's not that. But they will have a better idea of what to do with those.
Yeah.
I think the idea is replace them with Mahoney. All three of them. Mahoney can do that.
That'd
be interesting.
I don't know if that would. This is coming from a background in business. It will not look good if they got rid of the POCs.
But Mahoney's a POC.
No, but that's two women and that are like not getting set up really well. I don't know. I'm just saying that. I'm personally just saying that it will not feed well. But I know that the writers are a couple of POCs that probably don't want to get rid of the two POC women on the show.
I think you could bring back Mahoney. Just say like, during the blip, I quit the force and I did whatever, but I see what's going on now and I have buddies still in there. I mean, it's essentially a Cherry. Like, Cherry's not on the force anymore, right? But he has connections. Like, you could bring back Mahoney like that in a way. I think. I don't know.
Or you don't.
We just...
Or you don't.
I missed him, though.
Meg510 bringing up that we never did get that final Muse.
Brian, what the fuck?
Brian's just trying to
fixes the camera.
Brian, sit your ass down.
Brian's got to cut himself out now?
Yeah.
Meg510.
I'm friends with Brian. I yell at Brian like this. Fine. We're friends.
Meg510 saying, we never did get that final Muse mural of Daredevil. Yes, it's been a big topic conversation.
Vindication for Brandon. Dude.
Thank you.
And what's weird is they had all these episodes cut and finished enough to send to press months ago. That trailer was distributing after the episodes were cut and finished. If they knew that that was not going to be part of it, why did they put that in a trailer? That was so weird.
And I still don't know why it was even in the show. If it was something Muse made, I don't know.
I think it was from the older version of the show when Muse is going to be doing a lot of other additional stuff. But honestly, I have no idea. I don't know why that was there.
Yeah.
Weird.
And then last question from Wanzi Ponce. I think we'll use this to get into our final thing here. Saying, where does this finale rank in Disney Plus finales?
Ooh, okay. Because they have a lot of problems sticking the landings, I think, on their series, right? I mean, WandaVision was great. I think both Loki's ended well. Both seasons of Loki ended well. I think Agatha All Along ended very well. I think those are good endings to shows where I felt like they knew what they were doing.
It's also hard to compare because those shows ended and this one isn't.
Yeah, this is like an open ending.
This is like a cliffhanger.
Right? The first one we knew we were going to get a season 2 for, right?
Yeah,
I believe,
I love the finale of WandaVision because that was the ending of WandaVision. Yeah. And then I love the finale for season 2 of Loki because we're probably not going to get a season 3 of Loki.
Right.
Same, like, kind of with Moon Knight. I'm like, we're not probably going to see another one.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I don't know how to compare a layup for a show that's already laying itself. It ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But even as a cliffhanger, as a season finale, knowing that there's a season 2, I think this is, like, if you consider Loki season 1 to be a season finale that had a big cliffhanger, right? It's not as good as Loki season 1's ending was. It is not, I think it's kind of like in the upper half of them, but at the bottom of the upper half. So sort of in the middle. It does not present, like, there were some endings of these Disney Plus seasons where I was bewildered. Like, there were parts of the Hawkeye finale where I was, like, very negative after the Hawkeye finale. Like, I think all the stuff with Kazi and Maya, I just thought was, like, underdeveloped. I thought some of the logic with Eleanor Bishop and Kingpin was really underdeveloped.
Hawkeye shrunk down 3 members of the Tracksuit Mafia.
Which I love that part.
They were grabbed by an owl and presumably shredded.
Presumably.
Yeah. Presumably
they
shredded.
might have fell out of mouth. And then fell to the ground.
Fell on the ground. And then rats ate them.
Yeah, or we just stepped on them.
Someone's dissecting the owl pellet, being like, "What
is that a Nike? Is that a fucking pair of Jordan?
I think I was...
teacher, there's a tiny Adidas tracksuit in my owl pellet.
There's
is
not
this a tiny gun?
There's not too many good shows that were a really good show, really bad finale. Most of the time when it was a bad finale, the show itself wasn't that good. Secret Invasion is a good example.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Ms. Marvel had a so-so finale after what I thought was a... No, I think Ms. Marvel's finale was okay.
It was fun. The DDOC showed up. It was cute. I would give this like a B+ finale, right?
Yeah.
Fun action, hyper violent. You know, the fight scene in the apartment I think was a little confusing. It was so dark and like some of that's to cover up the amount of blood that they were showing, but there was some fun set pieces in there. I love the kind of like dread feeling of the whole episode. Like that was fun. And yeah, I love it kind of ending on a low note for our hero, right? He did not win out here. Kingpin won. So that was all fun. I just wish there had been, episodes 1, 8, and 9 kind of feel separate from the rest of the series. They feel like a real follow-up to the Netflix style. They feel like that kind of show. I just wish the whole season could have felt like this. And I feel like building up to this martial law moment, they could, if there was more of that in the season, it would have felt more rewarding, I think. Instead, it just kind of felt like they packed a couple episodes into one to kind of have all this happen in the finale. Like, imagine like a 2-parter where it's just like during the blackout or something. Like, that would have been great. So yeah, I would give it like a B+. Yeah.
Could it have been better? Sure. I do think this is one of the better finales of a Disney Plus Marvel show.
Yeah, as we wrap up the after show here and this season of Daredevil Born Again, our first season, we got to highlight who do we think won this series, who gets the mural from Dearly Departed Muse, and who are we throwing off the top of the building to land with a thud. What worked for you the most and what worked for you the least? Who are you making the mural for and who are you tossing off the building?
I'm gonna make my mural for Frank Castle.
Okay.
That was a very fun scene.
I mean, he ate it up.
He did, and I'm throwing Wilson Fisk off.
Oh, okay. You didn't like it, or you just don't like the man?
I don't like the man.
Oh, okay.
No, he did great. He did the greatest in the finale. I don't like what he was doing.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Eric?
Karen Page gets the mural for me. I think she was great. Every scene Deborah Ann Woll was in, she was fantastic.
Here.
And she needs to have an even bigger career. I think she's awesome. And I think she
has a great career.
She has a good career, but she should be in
bigger.
movies.
Her podcast is amazing.
I
watch her D&D games all the time.
I think she was incredible. And I think in this finale, she just crushed it. And she kind of spoke to the spirit of the past 3 seasons and was able to speak on behalf of Foggy. She was able to remind Matt who he is, and I just thought she was really fantastic. And I'm excited to see what she's able to bring to season 2. I'm throwing Daniel off the roof.
Daniel.
As you should.
We got some chest here in this episode. I liked it.
I just didn't
His
like
character was like the best this episode, but it didn't feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I stand by it. Continue.
I think to win a city council seat, to be a speaker or a deputy speaker in New York City, you have some backbone of your own. And, you don't just accidentally get that seat. You know the streets as well as some, punk-ass kid from Staten Island or wherever he's from. And I feel like that deputy speaker would have been like, shut the fuck up, you nerd. They would have talked him down. I think if it was Fisk in that room, they would have been afraid. But they would have been like, who are you?
Yeah.
I just thought the writing in that scene was a little weird.
They pushed back a little, and when he was like, oh, let me write down your name, they got a little, whatever. I would give Bullseye the mural. I think so much fun. What a great foil, and should have been a bigger character in this season. And who am I throwing off the building? I'm throwing off the storyline of Muse off the building. What a waste of what, was a dark, brooding serial killer who killed 60 plus people. Frank almost killed that many in one night, but I just thought it was such a waste, and to kill off Muse for nothing. I don't know.
I feel like that was the past storyline.
Yeah, I know it was the past storyline, but it was just a waste, I think. And I don't know. I thought there could have been a lot more there.
Apologies to that actor. That's going to be in season 2 of Wednesday, I think.
Oh, okay, good. Go off on Wednesday.
Hunter Doohan.
We say goodbye to Bastion with a splat on the ground. Okay. Well, that's it for us today and this season of Daredevil Born Again. Make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel right here on YouTube. And give us a follow on Twitch, where we do videos like this live. You can follow Breakroom NR on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and X. We'll catch you next time. Latest Gators.
Bye.
Bye.